Welcome back. In this session, we will start creating our sales dashboard. So this is the data which we discussed. To create a dashboard, we will insert a pivot table. But before inserting a pivot table, we will convert this data into a table format in Excel. The advantage of converting the data into a table format is that if we add any rows in the future, the table or the pivot table will get updated automatically. We also can insert a pivot table without converting the data into a table format. But in that case, if we insert any further rows in the future, then the data or the pivot table will not get updated automatically. So to convert the data into a table format, click on the data set and then press Ctrl and T. So this opens a dialog box which shows the range of the table from cell A1 to J8400. So we have the data till row 8400. We can select my table has headers because the table columns are already named, and we press OK. So when we press OK, data gets converted into a table format. If we want to change the formatting of this data table, so we can click on the table, go to the tables tab, and then in table design, we can choose the design we want. So we can keep the design simple. So I will move back to the original design. So this is a data which is converted into a table format. So if we click on the table and then click on the tables tab, we see that the name of the table is table 3. We want to change the name to dataset, and then now if we go back to the table and see the name, it is dataset for this table. The second step is to insert a pivot table. So we will click on the data and then go to insert pivot table. Again, it shows select table or range, and the table name is dataset. So Excel has identified that it's a table and the name of the table is dataset. We want to insert the pivot table in a new sheet. So it's already selected, and then click OK. So we get a pivot table and the pivot table fields. If we look at our dashboard, we want the total sales, total profit, and average shipping cost. So we will structure the pivot table in the similar format. So to get the sales, we'll click on sales and drag it to the values section. So you see that we have the sum of sales. Similarly, we will click on the shipping cost. So we have the sum of the shipping cost, and then we click on the profit. So we have the sum of the profit. For our dashboard, we need the total sales, total profit, and average shipping cost. So we'll drag the shipping cost below the profit. So now we have the sum of sales, sum of profit, and sum of shipping cost. So this is the total sum of the shipping cost. To convert it to average, we'll click on the cell and then right click and then select summarize value by. Here we have sum, click on average, so we get the average shipping cost. Now this data is unformatted. To format the data, click on the pivot table and then right click, select number format. In number format, we click on the number. We need decimal places till 1, use 1000 separator. So the data is formatted. We can rename it as total sales, total profit, and average shipping cost. So this is the requirement for our boxes at the top. Now we will insert a rectangular box. To insert a rectangular box, click on insert and then go to shapes. In shapes, I will select this rectangle with corners rounded. Now we can draw the rectangle of the size we want. So we have the rectangle. I will go to format and then no outline. So this is the first shape, and this shape is for the total sales. So we will go to insert and then click on the text box and click this text box anywhere in the Excel sheet. Now we'll write total sales, make it a bit bigger, go to home, size is 16, the color should be white, and now we can drag this over here. We can make it even bigger, size 20. So we have the total sales. Now again, to insert the figure for the total sales, we'll again go to insert, text box, and then select this text box. Now this total sales figure has to be dynamic, so we cannot type the number over here. So click on the text box, then go to the formula bar and type is equal to, and then link it to the cell, click OK. We see that this cell is not able to link to a pivot table. For making this text box dynamic, we will pull this data separately. So to pull this data separately, we'll create this range, color it, and then say data for text boxes. Here we have the total sales, total profit, and average shipping cost. And now we can link this to the pivot table. So we click on total sales, OK. Now we can format this separately. Again, for total profit, we'll link it to the total profit cell, and for average shipping cost to the average shipping cost in the pivot table. Now format these cells. I don't need a decimal for the total sales and profit, but we will show the average shipping cost. We'll show the first decimal for the average shipping cost. So this is the data for the boxes. And now if we go to insert and then click on the text box, and we want to link this data to the text box, so type is equal to, and then link it to the total cells and click enter. So now we see that the data can be linked to the text box. So text box cannot be linked directly to the pivot table, but it can be linked if we pull the data from the pivot table. Now place this text box on this rectangular box and then format it for our dashboard. So the font has to be white. We'll increase the size of the font so that it stands out. So make it 16, extend this a bit. Total sales, we will increase the font size to 24. Again, increase the size of the text box, and go to format, go to home, and then center format it. Do the formatting as required. So this is the first text box. Now we want a dollar sign also over here. We will select the data and then press Ctrl 1. We get the format cells box. So we'll go to currency, and then in currency we will select the US dollars. We don't need the decimals. We need the decimal only for the average shipping cost. So we'll format it. And now when we convert this data into a currency format, that format changes automatically in the text box. So this is the first box. Now we need to group them. So select the rectangular box and the two text boxes, right click and then select group. This is grouped. Now we can move it if we want. Similarly, we will add two more boxes. So we'll press Ctrl C and Ctrl V. So we have a box for the total profit, and Ctrl V, a box for the average shipping cost. So we'll type total profits and average shipping cost. Now link the data text boxes to the relevant cells. So click on the total profit text box. Now change the link, go to the formula bar and click is equal to total profit. When we link it to a different cell, the formatting changes. To copy the formatting, press Ctrl Shift and C, and to paste the formatting, press Ctrl Shift and V. So this is the total profit, and similarly we will link for the average shipping cost. So it's is equal to cell I6, enter. Again Ctrl Shift and C to copy the formatting, and then Ctrl Shift and V to paste the formatting. We also want to change the color of these boxes. So click on the box and then go to format and then shape fill. So this one is green, and this one average shipping cost is a gray box. So go to format and then shape fill, select the gray format. So these are the three boxes. We can select these three boxes and we'll group them. So click on the three boxes and then right click and group. So these have been grouped. So these are the three text boxes. Before ending this session, so one thing which we want to highlight is the working sheet. So we will just have one working sheet for our dashboard. So we will name this sheet as working sheet or working, and then we'll insert another sheet which is the dashboard sheet. So this is the sheet where we'll have all the data. Now we want to move these boxes to the dashboard. So we'll copy this or cut this. So press Ctrl X to cut and then Ctrl V to paste them to the dashboard. Once you move these data to the dashboard, one thing which you will notice is that these cells are still linked to the individual cells I5, I4 and I6. So if we change anything in this table, so let's say for example, if we change the data to 0, go to the dashboard, it doesn't get updated automatically. These boxes are linked to cells I5, I6 and I7 in this sheet. So we want to link them to the working sheet. So we have two options. Either we can link them directly. So we'll type is equal to working. Again, the formatting changes. So we can reformat them, or the second way is to give these cells a name so that when we link these cells to the text boxes, nothing changes in this Excel file because the cell names remain the same. So we need to change the formatting. So we will select these text boxes now, change the font to white and increase the font size to 16. This is how we can link our data to the text boxes so that when the data gets updated, so for example, if we change the sales now to 0, the data in the text boxes get updated automatically. So this is it for this session. In the next session, we will learn about creating pivot table slicers and how to format them. Thank you.